Welcome into TimeOut Kansas City. We're here on the FiredUP Network. You can watch us on sports.tv. You can watch it on True TV Plus, Carbon TV. Get that True TV Plus app. You can get it wherever you get your apps now, even on Chromecast, Apple Play, Android, wherever you go to get the apps. It's available and it's all free. I'm joined by Chris, the Playmaker Stimpson, bringing you home afternoons on Hot 103 Jayhawks KPRS here in Kansas City. Chris, good to have you in. Man, it's been an eventful couple weeks. I don't think we've spoken since I was on vacation, went out for a while, but it's been the best of worlds and the worst of worlds for Kansas City sports here. From KU stumbling out of the gates, Sporting stumbling to the beginning, and then we got the Royals and the Chiefs. How you been doing the last couple weeks?
Oh, I've been enjoying the good, the bad, and the ugly, you would say. Like you said, man, the ups and downs, everything. Yeah, K-State's been up and down. We got a big test coming up in Colorado, like you said, with KU, Mizzou. I don't know what happened to them at A&M. The Royals, Chiefs, current is at least on the up. So, you got to take the good with the sweet, or the good and the bad, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I guess let's start with the rough part first, and we'll save the best parts for last, like dessert, with the Royals advancing in the playoffs and the Chiefs going to the break as the only undefeated team in the AFC. You and I were in attendance for Sporting Kansas City's last regular season home matchup, since they are not going to make the playoffs. And man, it was a less impressive replay of the U.S. Open Cup final. Sporting and LAFC had just played in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup final, which was really the last best chance to kind of salvage the season for Sporting. They were tied at the end of regulation in that matchup, but ended up losing in the half-hour extra time, 3-1. There was no competitive effort from Sporting in this game. It was 3-0, and it honestly wasn't that close. What was your reaction from watching them? I mean, they seemed miles away.
Yeah, you know what? It felt sad. It felt sad, Gerald, just to watch how the game unfolded, the easy goals that were let in, like the tap in on the second goal, or not the first goal. The second goal, I believe, was the penalty where he missed. Bouanga's a hell of a player, by the way. He is what he's advertised. That is true.
Yeah, LAFC has talent.
Yes, no, they're built like you said. Just listening to some of the cast leaving, and some of the people on Twitter, on X, were talking about how so and so makes more money than some of the players on the whole bench, and so and so is making this much money. They can afford to just bring them off the bench. So you could tell what they're working with LAFC. But I think the third goal, Aaron Long, and what he did. Aaron Long is a defensive player, y'all, but he looked like an attacker the way he scored that third goal, and that right there just summed up everything. And Johnny Russell was trying his best to try to get out there and make something happen. He just couldn't. The offense just wasn't clicking. I like Joaquin. Yeah. I like what he brought to the table, but they probably needed him a little bit earlier in the season, probably in the beginning of the season than what's unfolding here these last few weeks. But yeah, just not a good output for that fan appreciation night. Not a good output at all.
No, and I think the fans appreciated Sporting more than Sporting appreciated the fans, given the way that game went. It just wasn't. I mean, there was no there.
The crowd emptied out early too, Gerald. Did you see that?
Yeah, it did.
It seemed like they were emptying out super early.
Oh, yeah. Once that third goal went in and made it 3-0, that was it. Polito looked back to being a step slow and not really in the scoring position, and a lot of missed passes. And we went to the post-game press conference, and Peter went back to something that he mentioned early in the season when they were on that 10-match losing streak, that it's about mentality. We need the mentality. And I thought, okay, well, we talked about that at the beginning of the season. What is Sporting mentality? And here's what he said.
Hey, Peter, I know we've talked about the mentality before, but how would you describe what is the ideal mentality you want to see from Sporting Kansas City?
Look, we've always had it. I think, part of it is that when you are unsuccessful, I think that the group has unfortunately lost a lot of confidence. At the same time, I would say, I think when you play at home, you got to drive the game. Nobody comes into your place and drives the game. You have to drive the game. That's first. Our intensity in the game has to be at a much higher level. Our individual duels defensively have to be completely different. Intensity, want to win the ball. You don't give the other player any time or space on the ball. Right now we do. And I would say, look, I'm being honest. I would say some of that is because they know we're out of the playoffs and it's not there. But I can tell you this, that will not be the case next season.
A little cryptic end there because there's 12 guys out of contract. So I think you're going to see a quite different team next year for Sporting Kansas City because that was a trend throughout the season. I asked him that on that first home loss, and it continued because he went right back to it on the last home loss. And I don't think it ever got to where he wanted it to get to this year. They didn't have that dominating attack mentality, if you will, except for a few games. It was few and far between. And
I got the home record at 6-7-4 for wins, draws, and losses. That's not going to get you in the playoffs. Not one bit.
No.
And I'm not even going to mention the road record.
Oh no.
So,
but I mean, in any high level football league, soccer league, I'm wearing an Arsenal shirt right now. If you're in the EPL, the model is win at home, draw on the road against the challenging teams, and steal a couple wins. If you do that, you're going to be fine. Well, if you go 500 at home and, win 2 road games all year, you're toast. You need to draw on the road. You need to win at home. I mean, it's a pretty simple model. And it's a model because I think we can agree there's going to be lots of changes in Sporting Kansas City. And there's a few pillars. I think Jake Davis came out of the season as a foundational piece, a pillar, if you will. Stephen Afrifa. Maybe Willie Agada.
The song is actually getting called up to Canada, which is surprising. I think he's going to let some of these young players ride out. I think that's what's about to happen. Some of the young players that are there are going to get their chances. And I think some of the older players about to see, probably about to make moves. And I think including Johnny. I hate to say it. I think Johnny has played his last game.
I think he did too. It was a somber mood in the locker room too, because generally speaking, right after, just to kind of go a little bit behind the curtain, right after the press conference with Peter, you can generally walk over to the locker room. It's right across the hallway, and there's 4, 5, 6 players that are more than happy to talk to you and answer any questions. It's a good group of guys. But after this game, we walked over there. There was nobody. People were in treatment, quote unquote. The lockers were emptied out. I mean, they were gone. So it was definitely a turning of the page kind of experience. I think you will see major change. They have salary cap money. They have contracts coming off the books. They're in a position to make some moves, and we'll see what they can do. You got a new general manager and sporting director and Mike Burns. I think you're going to see some big moves because they have to make some changes.
They have to. Second worst team in the Western Conference is not Sporting standards, not at all.
No.
Not for what I've seen these years since I've been following them. Not at all. Not even close.
And when I was leaving, because there's no players there, I waited like 15 minutes and okay, well, time to go. Walked out to the, there's only one elevator from the media area up. Walked out to the media elevator, and guess who was getting off the elevator as I was coming on?
Who's that? Team
principal owner, Cliff Illick.
Oh.
And I fought the urge to say, Mr. Illick, are you looking to make major changes in the offseason? I just couldn't. I couldn't do it. I thought, oh, man. wrong time, wrong place. Instead, I said, wow, hey, it was a good turnout. Thanks for the season, Mr.
Yeah.
Elegant. Waved and just kept walking. I didn't think that was going to end well if I interviewed Cliff Illig in the hallway.
I think it's going to be an interesting end of season press conference after the FC Dallas game in a couple of weeks to see what the ownership and
there's
there's
going to be a lot of moves. It's coming.
Nobody can be happy. Nobody can be happy.
No, and he's a really unassuming guy. If you didn't know who he was, you wouldn't know, because the operator for the elevator asked me, "Oh, who was that nice man?" Cliff Illig. Well, who's he? That's the guy who owns the team. I mean, he said, "Oh." So there you go. But I mean, he is a nice guy. He was just, I'm sure he's not happy. They're going to make some changes. On the other side of the river, the other soccer team is in a much happier position. They've basically got the number 3 seed clinched into the playoffs. They have a home matchup clinched. And if a couple of things go their way, they can be playing for the championship game at home. The NWSL Championship is going to take place right before Thanksgiving at CPKC Stadium. They got a good win against Louisville, and Temwa has now tied the record for single season scoring. And just to show you, not exactly super talkative, here's what she said about tying that record in the game against Louisville.
I'm so proud, but because of my teammate, they helped me a lot to score goals like this. So I'm very happy because of my teammate, they helped me a lot this season.
Very, very humble. She even said at the beginning of the season, because I remember asking her before the first matchup, what do you want to tell the Kansas City fans before you make your debut? And she said, I just want them to think I'm a good player. I need to show them I'm a good player. Well, that's been accomplished.
Yes.
She's been amazing. I think Vlatko, head coach Vlatko, deserves Executive of the Year simply for signing her. She was available to literally any team, not just here and in the EPL as well, or Liga MX. She was playing in the Chinese Super League. Led all professional soccer players in goal scoring last year at any major league level. And she's going to crush all the records in the NWSL, which is the pinnacle of women's soccer. It's amazing that she was just out there. And Vlatko had scouted her years ago and took the opportunity to bring her over. What an amazing addition, because that is your difference. I mean, you go watch the current play, even in games that they score 1 or 2 goals, they have that mentality, that driving the game mentality that Peter talked about, because she's the tip of the spear and the whole team follows.
She is awesome. And to put that in context with the tying that record with Sam Kerr, and if y'all know who she is, go look her up, because she was on the cover last year of the EAFC game. That's how cold she is. One of the best players in the game from Australia, who's doing it for Chelsea now. So you talking about that type of record and what she's going to do this season, and this is my first time seeing her play. I can't imagine what the future is about to be for her in KC, but well done to Tim Wood. She's going to break the record. That's going to happen.
Yeah.
We got about 3 more matches left in the Summer Cup, but she's going to get that done. Amazing to see that in KC. And again, nobody had any type of expectations for the current season to be as good as that they are this year, and she by far is right there. And getting that golden boot would be something great to have here in Kansas City.
Yeah, it really would be. And I think they'll win the Summer Cup. It's going to be contested on October 25th. But they're
You're right. Summer Cup in October, right?
The Olympic. It was during the Olympic break. They had 2 of them actually. They had the Women's Cup and then the Summer Cup. So
yes,
if people are confused, wait, they already won that, right? They won the one. They won the Women's Cup. This is the other one.
Yes,
they cruised through the summer. They had a little bit of a I don't know, what do you want to say, a little bit of a blip,
Yeah.
because they took that summer, they took that one loss to Orlando right before the Olympic break to heart, and they took it as, okay, hey, we're not good enough to win the championship. We need to get better. Let's go. And they added Kyla Sharples. They added Alma Schmut, a new goalkeeper. They added Alana Cook, a former U.S. national team center defender, and really just changed their defense
Yes.
while still keeping the explosiveness on offense. And it took a couple of games to get their footing, but now you got a great combination of a tremendously explosive offense with Dabinia, Bia, and Temwa there. And then you add the defense, and something that I've really liked that they've been doing. We joked about Kyrie Shelton coming in as the closer for Sporting. Well, the Current's been doing that, bringing Elizabeth Ball in as the closer. So they're bringing in a baller as a closer, and she's kind of playing a defensive offensive position once they get the lead. I mean, it's really been impressive how they've changed on the fly, and now they're clipping along. They're just pitching up clean sheet after clean sheet.
That's the biggest difference, right, Gerald? No more of those
Mhm.
shootouts that we were accustomed to at the beginning of the season, where they was expected to score 4 or 5 goals just
Yeah.
to win the game. Now they can score about a couple, like they did against Racing Louisville, and come out with the victory, and not have to worry about anything. So yeah, great up front, great midfield, great in the back. It's going to be interesting to see how things are going to shape up before the playoffs come through with Bay FC, San Diego, and Chicago coming up. Be interested to see how that's going to pair out for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, and something that jumped out at me, Alana Cook was available to the media this week, and she talked about how the Current just takes care of all the little things. It was really insightful comment from Alana. Here it is.
Yeah, I think that was one of the most exciting things when I was coming here was the attention to detail, everything we do on the field, identifying those little moments we can get better at. But also to the facility, we have the ability to recover, to do ice bath, the hot bath, do all the little things, treatment. So I think especially at this point in the season, a few games left, looking into playoffs, I think it's really important for all of us to focus on those little things off the field as well, the recovery, sleeping, doing our, rolling out, all that stuff. And we're just so fortunate to have everything we need on site here.
I like that because I think that's something that really kind of crosses over sports. If you take care of the little things, if you have that attention to detail, you're dialed in, everything can be important and everything's part of it. Like the old song, right? Everything is everything.
Everything is everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they live that. You go to the Current, even just before the season started, and when the season was just getting going, and Vlaco was talking about how we got to establish a culture. We have a culture. This is how we do it. The change they made in one offseason was just astonishing. And I think it started from that beginning, their preseason, their training camp. They really implemented in that culture that this is how we play. This is what we do. And they've been able to string that through the whole season.
And what a recruiting advantage when you got that beautiful stadium over there with CPKC Stadium in their training facility, right?
Mhm.
That's some of the things that you mentioned. Just the fact that they could be able to have those facilities to go to, where they don't have to worry about practicing at a high school park, or maybe having to go somewhere else to train, or worry about a park, maybe going to a park to train, or have to worry about that stuff. So great recruiting tool, and somebody he's a winner. You could say what you want about Vlaco with the U.S. Women's National Team, but before that, he's been a winner in NWSL and other leagues. So he's a winner. He knows how to win, and can't take that away from him. Looking forward to see what's about to come through these next couple of months for Current, see what they can do. I think they're going to make some noise coming up, especially if they can get that home game for the championship.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think they're going to be really, really hard to beat because they're finally 100% healthy.
Yes.
They got the new players integrated. They got their style down. They got their rotation down. They're really playing their best, and they're playing their best as you're coming down the stretch run, because they just completed a stretch of playing the three, if they're not the best team, the three teams they just played, Washington, Gotham, and Orlando are, and they came out of that undefeated. So
yes,
really playing their best. And even off the pitch, they just announced they are building. If you drive by their training facility and you look at the construction going on across the street in Parkville, in Riverside, it is a new hotel that the Current owns. They're building a 137-room hotel right there by their training facility.
There you go. There you go.
Going to have their own hotel available for, whatever they need it for. If they bring in youth teams, if they have tournaments there, so they're building in more ways than just on the field. They really do.
And another way to generate more revenue for the team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good look.
Yeah, and it's a neat facility, and going to have a Live Nation amphitheater right across the street. So going to be a destination area in Kansas City. So that's the look at, I think, what Peter is talking about. That's what he wants to see. But they're not the only team in the city that's doing that, because we saw the Kansas City Chiefs go to 5-0 last night, Monday Night Football, one of the biggest sporting nights in Kansas City sports history.
Yes.
They took a New Orleans Saints team that had been playing really good football and was, really being held up as a breakout team after 2 weeks. Well, not quite. They're now 2-3. The Chiefs win an easier game than the score indicated, 26-13.
That's true.
Because, they punch in a couple of those. The one problem was punching in the first and goal opportunities. They only converted on 2 of them. They punch in 2 more, then you're winning. Then you're 34-13. It's a blowout.
Yes. Yeah, especially the interception, or should I say, I don't know what you would have called that. It was the interception, but
it's rolled an
Taylor
interception.
was rumbling and bumbling. I needed
fumble.
Chris Berber when he was running down the field.
Yeah.
We got that.
His high school coach was proud of him because he showed his running back skills still.
Yes. He was scooting.
So, hey,
I didn't know he was that fast.
At least it was an amusing play that didn't end up hurting anybody, right? He was a popular guy with the Chiefs. His brother's Taylor Swift, one of Taylor Swift's backup dancers. He graduated from UMKC, so they're a popular family. And hey, it's okay. He got his highlight. Maybe the Saints can use him in a goal line situation in a William the Refrigerator Perry role.
Yes, go look that up, kids.
What the Chiefs did, or Dontari Poe, Hungry Pig. What the Chiefs did, though, they showed that there is truth to the next man up, because Juju Smith-Schuster had his best statistical game since 2018. Looked like he didn't even miss a beat from when he was here a couple of years ago. And he wasn't the only one, because Kareem Hunt got in there and he showed that, man, 2017, let's go. They were ready to go. It was really impressive. Here's what Juju said about his big game and how it came about.
Yeah, I mean, first thing I have to give it up to the man above. Without him and, my faith in him, he's been guiding me through all this. And coming back here is, a place I'm very familiar with, playing with a great quarterback that, I've had chemistry in the past, playing under Andy Reid and the guys, on the field, from my tight ends, O-line, to running backs, to receiver. This is a team sport. It takes all 11 guys, for us to make one play happen. And, yeah.
That is true, because a lot of his big plays were as a result of, coverage being dragged out by Justin Watson, by Xavier Worthy, Travis Kelce running another underneath route. But, man, Juju looked great. He filled right in.
No, like you said, picked up like he never left. Like, if you say that, like, he came right back and everything was just as easy for him last night. And again, shout out to Kareem Hunt. 27 touches, 27 rushes, 102 with a tutty. I told somebody at work too. I said somebody, because they're going to go place a bet. I was like, hey, man, you might take over on Kareem Hunt tonight, because I think he's going to get work. I didn't think he's going to get 27 of it, but hey, he came in there. Same thing. When 2 people know the system, it's easy to come back in and be like, okay, we can go back in and do what we got to do. And you're not asking Patrick to do too much. And it felt like he didn't do that much, but then he ends up with 331 yards. It didn't feel like he did all that last night. But what a match. What a way to start the season, 5-0. I expected them to be good. I did not expect them to be undefeated. So this is a great look for Kansas City to start off the season.
Oh, absolutely. And just the fact that Kareem Hunt is doing what he did, you got to give a lot of credit to the Chiefs organization and Brett Veach, because he was out there. Anybody could have grabbed him.
Anybody. Yes. And complimentary team at that, Gerald, because defense is definitely complementing the offense and vice versa. There's no, the offense is carrying the defense. Defense carried offense. The defense is just as good, limiting New Orleans once again to that many points, even though Derek Carr had to lead the game. Not much really happened. I believe Olave only had like one catch last night.
I think he didn't really have, but they were minimal.
Yeah,
and
he had no impact.
Look at what they did to Alvin Kamara, and then even more, look at what they've done to the running backs they've played this year.
Yeah,
they're good running backs. J.K. Dobbins, Derrick Henry. They've held the running backs, the number one back on each of the teams they've played, to a combined average of 2.6 yards per carry.
Yes.
You stop the run game to that level, you're going to be in great shape, because then that opens up the door for Chris Jones, for Karlaftis, for Mike Dana, for Chamari Connor, who's been a huge breakout. That's when they can get after the quarterback, and it really, really highlights how good the defense is too, because a lot of the talk was that, hey, you lost L'Jarius Sneed. Now Trent McDuffie's going to be singled out. He's not going to have the help he had. And the defense is going to take a step back. If anything, they may have taken a step forward, because our run defense was not good last year. We were slightly below average. The pass defense made up for it. This year, we've had an elite run defense. And the Saints offense is not a bad offense.
No.
You got Derek Carr, Chris Olave, Alvin Kamara. That's a good offense. And you saw what they did to the Cowboys. They lit up the Cowboys.
Lit them up like a Christmas tree. So you already know they got a good offense with Clint Kubiak down there. So big win for the Chiefs. Now they go into the bye week and get rested up and get ready for that big matchup coming against San Francisco, even though San Francisco's not looking like the team they were these last few seasons.
They're all banged up
now
too.
either. Yes. Yeah.
Well, and then I wanted to get to Patrick Mahomes too, because he talked about how do you work the guys in, because really, this was their best offensive game of the season.
Yeah.
And this was without, you've had Hollywood Brown missing all year. First game without Rashee Rice, who we now know is going to be out for the season. It's LCL injury, not as bad as an ACL, but takes about 12 weeks to recover. And just if somebody's out there and you're wanting to look forward and really looking at it with red and gold colored glasses, the Super Bowl is 12 weeks and 1 day from today. So in theory, he'd be ready to go a day to spare. I don't think we'll see him there, but that is the bright side. Here's what Patrick Mahomes said about working the guys in.
I think it's a credit to not only the guys, and how hard they work, but Coach Reed and just knowing their skill sets and how to put them in great positions. And, Kareem just runs extremely hard. He gets every yard out there, catches the ball, does whatever it takes in order to go out there and win. And then Juju, even when he wasn't getting as many reps, he was in the playbook. He was learning the things that he had lost over 1 year. But, y'all saw him 2 years ago. He fits in well in this offense. And so he did a great job today. So it was cool to get those guys going and then to step up. And it's going to be like that until we start getting some of these guys back. It's going to be everybody's going to have to step up and make plays.
Next man up.
Yeah. And I don't think they'll need, they could go get a trade, just be strength. But I think what you saw last night, and look, we haven't really talked about Kelsey, and he had a big night last night.
He had a good game. Yeah.
Yeah, he had a good game. We're not even talking about him. And so that was his first good game of the year. So if he can come on, you still got Worthy, you still got Juju. I think they're going to be okay. If they just go get an extra receiver, then it's just icing on top of the cake.
Yeah, and really, they should have gotten an additional pass interference call on that first bomb to Xavier Worthy. It was a blatant PI, and Saints got away with it. He is a weapon too. Of course, the thing that was trending if you look at X and look at Instagram, the thing that was trending when you mentioned Xavier Worthy was Xavier Worthy's mom.
His mom, yes.
Yeah, she's become an internet sensation. She was trending big time. So Xavier Worthy's got
I know some people, Gerald. I was gonna say I know some people, Gerald, who wants to see her more on the screen than Taylor Swift. So
yeah, well, there you go. And you can listen afternoons from 3 to 7 on Hot 103 Jams. But that's the kind of depth they have. I don't know if they do need to trade for somebody, because one of the talking points that I've heard a lot, and I don't think people realize it, keep saying, well, they got Juju, but he's an old wide receiver. He's not an old wide receiver. I'm not sure why that's stuck so much. He's 27.
Yeah.
And the guys that we talk about and we spent all offseason saying, well, they can't get rid of Kadarius Toney. He's a young player with a ton of potential. The people who are Kadarius Toney apologists. Kadarius Toney is less than 2 years younger than Juju Smith-Schuster. He's 25.
Yeah.
Sky Moore's like 3 years younger. Juju Smith-Schuster's not an old wide receiver. He's 27 years old. He's okay. He can play. The guy's not going to fall apart.
I don't think people realize how young he was coming into the league when he got drafted by Pittsburgh. He was one of the youngest players ever to come in the NFL, if I remember right.
Yeah, because I think he was a young freshman, and then he came out after his sophomore year. So yeah, he was probably one of those guys who either got reclassified to go to college early.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's been in the league since 2018, but he's only 27. I mean, the guy's he's got some miles left on the tires, and he seems healthy because he had enough speed to Badger out of his shoes on that.
Yes. Nah, he looks great out there, and another player that anybody could have had.
Yeah, it's amazing. You'd think you would take somebody just to obstruct the Chiefs, if nothing else. And I mean, if you're a Buffalo Bills fan and you look at the weapons they're running out there for Josh Allen, the fact that they paid MVS a major free agent contract and they could have had Juju Smith-Schuster for nothing. I mean, you got to really question what your GMs are doing, because man, it just honestly makes no sense at all.
If they keep going how they're going, they won't be there that long anyway, because they're not looking that great right now.
No, they'll be joining Robert Salah on the unemployment line.
I think they're trying to follow the Kansas City formula. What they're trying to do, thinking, oh, less is more for Josh Allen. No, Josh Allen needs a dog out there on the perimeter for him. He's got to have that.
I'm sure it really hurt that Stephon Diggs was on the other team that beat him, and they had the chance to at least get the game to overtime, but they got the ball back with 23 seconds to go and proceeded to throw 3 straight incompletions. Didn't even cause Houston to use a timeout. So gave Houston the ball. Gave them the ball back on their side of the 50. With what kickers are doing now, basically in field goal range already with 3 timeouts, and surprised that they lost. It's just horrible coaching. But I mean, you see that every week.
Yes.
Now, I don't think it's because of horrible coaching, but the KU Jayhawks fall to 1-5. They grab defeat from the jaws of victory again, this time to the Arizona State Sun Devils. They took the lead. All they had to do was stop them one time from driving 75 yards with less than a minute to go, and that didn't happen. And even more amazingly, they let them do it on the ground.
Yes.
KU's done for the season, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else they can get up for right about now. They had high hopes. I know they had plans on competing, if not winning the Big 12 championship this year, but that's out the window already. And to a team that they're trying to figure out who they are in Arizona State with everything that's going on over there. We all know about the violations and everything that happened previous regime, but you talking about one of the youngest, if the youngest coach in college football or one of the youngest,
one of them,
Dillingham, yeah. And so for that to happen, and like you said, they should have won the game because I caught that drive that KU did to score the game, and I thought, oh, it's over. There's no way Arizona State's going to score on the way back, but they let them march on down the field. So, yeah, big loss. I know Lance was not happy. Lance Leipold, the coach, is not happy about what happened after the game.
No,
I'm sure it's
and
more reasons why he's not happy compared to what happened or how they lost that game. I'm sure it's just other things that's going on behind the scenes that maybe we don't know about.
it's going to be a rough atmosphere with 3 more conference games at Arrowhead. And they're going to need to get a couple of W's there because nothing good about playing in front of a half-empty NFL stadium with the fans.
No.
The fans turning on them, which I think is unfair because this is a team that's historically been horrible. And I do think Lance Leipold can get it turned around and get them.
Yeah, no, he's a good coach. He's proven it. I think he's a good coach. I think they still have a good team. I'm still worried as a K-State fan because I know that game is still coming up on our schedule. So anything can happen in a rivalry game. So I'm still not trying to see KU right now. And they I'm sure they still have something to prove to themselves. Hopefully. And they will, but just not a good look for this season to start off the way they not wanted. I'm sure they rather be 4-1 and 1-4.
Feel good with K-State turning it around after that unfortunate, I think unexpected bad loss to BYU. Now BYU is probably better than they were given credit for. They're looking pretty good. It's a tough place to play.
Yes.
But you think K-State's got it on gear now and they can make a run at the Big 12 title?
I think so, but I think I'm going to know more about them coming up Saturday against Colorado in Colorado because Colorado is always going to be a tough out no matter what. Even and they got a good record. They got a better season than what they done last year. So they've shown that. We know about Shedeur. We know about Travis Hunter. Shiloh is coming back for this game from what I saw earlier today. So it's going to be a good one. Late game on ESPN. We're getting Big 12 after dark. And I think it's going to be a big test again for Avery. And I'm sure he's got the BYU game in his head to have a reference for what he's going to with Boulder, going back in the high altitude again. So another primetime game. Maybe they had the jitters in that game with BYU. They didn't know what to expect playing altitude for the first time, maybe for some of those players. So, but motivation should be there, Gerald. Dylan Edwards is going back to Colorado where he just left to go back to K-State. So I think it's going to be a big test, and we got a good stretch coming up because we got Arizona State coming up as well. We got KU. We still got Houston. We still got Iowa State, who's been good this year on the low. Nobody's talking about Iowa State as much. So
undefeated and out of the top 10.
Yeah, we still have a great chance, and I think some of those teams that we're not expected to win in the Big 12 are winning, and we're starting to see some of the teams that we're expected to win not winning right now. So that tells you the league is very tough. And I thought it was going to be a tough league. It might be tougher than we thought it was, Gerald.
Yeah, it's been a really uneven year in college football too, because we thought, oh man, and Missouri showed that they have some questions getting rolled by Texas A&M. But I think a lot of people thought, oh man, this Missouri team, it may not be as good as we think it is because they just barely beat Vanderbilt, and then we see Vanderbilt go and beat Alabama. First time they beat them in 40 years. And if that happens, I think anything's up for grabs in college football this year.
No doubt. And I think Missouri could still bounce back, but I thought that Vandy game would be a wake-up game for them, but apparently it didn't wake them up enough. So maybe now that they waking up from their slumber and turn up and finish out the season, I still think they got high hopes. And who knows? They could still win out and make a run. We'll see what happens. But but that's going to be but they might look back at the they're going to look back at the A&M game and say what happened, like literally, because they're a way better team than what they showed Saturday.
Uncompetitive from the start. They just got ran off the field.
Texas A&M is not that good to be running them off the field. They're not that good.
No, they just barely beat Notre Dame. Well, let's end on an up note. How about the Kansas City Royals? I went back and checked out our preseason episode for TimeOut right before the baseball season started, and I went with 74-88, which I thought, hey, that would be a good year. That's an accomplishment because you'd increase your wins from 56 to 74. You're on a glide path. You're going to be good next year. and then maybe in 2025 you make the playoffs. I'm stunned. Honestly, at this point, anything they do, it doesn't matter. Massive
Agreed.
accomplishment.
Yes.
And, they're in position to really, in a way, be a better long-term team than they were in 2014, 2015, because that window was closing. And you see contributions from guys that you really don't expect to have them. Miguel Garcia, 4 hits in the game. Bobby Witt Jr. doesn't have a hit yet in this series. And the Royals get a win out of Yankee Stadium, and they get to bring it home to Kansas City and actually have home field advantage now in the series with 2 of the 3 games left here. How amazed are you with what they've done? I mean, it's really been incredible.
No, I've been amazed just season that they had to get to where they're at, and think about the lineup they had, Gerald, because you're really thinking about Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, Salvador Perez has pretty much been the main hitters throughout the whole season. Everybody else kind of had a turn. MJ had a run. Hunter Renfroe had a run at one point. Now you bring in Tommy Pham, Yuli Gurriel, Hampson came through the other night with a hit in the RBI. So you're getting contributions everywhere. But again, the biggest shock to me is the pitching. One thing since I've been here and following these teams is the pitching. And that's what got them through 2014, 2015. But I did not expect Seth Lugo to be who he was this year. I knew Cole Reagan was going to make a step up, but to actually start game 1 or the playoffs and to be out there in Yankee Stadium to see what he's doing, and he's still got a lot of room to improve on. This is great. Like you said, we're set up with younger players. The best player on the team is signed up for a long time. So it's not like with Eric Hosmer and Moose and all them, we were about a year or two. Are they going to go? They're going to be traded? No, he's going to be here for a while.
They're here.
You still got Salvi under contract. Michael Massey's still young. Kyle Isabel is still young. Garcia moved up to the leadoff the other night to get those 4 hits is amazing. That's where you say amazing right there. And imagine Coach Q has been on his stuff, and I can't say I really what to say, but he has been on his stuff, man. At some points, out managing like the other night with Aaron Boone, out managing what's going on in these playoffs. I love it. I love to see what's happening right now in the playoffs, and they have a legit shot to sweep these 2 games here at the K and get ready for the next series. It can definitely happen. Yeah,
the bullpen has turned it around. What was just the Achilles heel of the team has become a strength, because look at Angel Zerpa out there, Chris Bubik, Daniel Lynch, and probably the biggest midseason acquisition they made 2 years in a row now. JJ Picola is really good at making the in-season trades, the trade deadline trades. Lucas Erceg, that guy, he has that Wade Davis, Calvin Herrera kind of feel. Not even Greg Holland, because Greg Holland didn't have the dominating fastball. But look at Erceg. He's gunning it up there at 101 and then following up with a 92-mile-an-hour changeup on the bottom corner. That's an impressive weapon, and that has been a key. That was the key to the Royals in 14 and 15, having that dominant bullpen. You get it to the end, hey, it's okay. We got Wade Davis and Herrera coming in.
HDH.
Right? Yeah, right now with Chris Bubik and Lucas Erceg, and then maybe Angel Zerpa. It's not,
and wait till they feed off the energy.
Have the same ring, but
and wait till they feed off the energy at the K. Yeah, when they come back to the K for game 3 and 4, the energy at the K is going to be amazing. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be more rockets than what they saw at Yankee Stadium. So I think they're going to get more juice, and I think that's going to, especially for Bobby. I think Bobby is definitely going to come through once they get back home. He hasn't had it home good. To see what the playoff atmosphere is going to be like at Kauffman for the first time. Woo, that's going to be exciting. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. You're going to be there, right?
Yeah. Heading out to the game. It's going to be impressive. And, Bobby Witt Jr., he got what he wanted when they asked him. JJ did an interview and said, hey, we went and talked to Bobby Witt Jr., asked him, what does it take for you to sign up here? And he told them, I love playing in Kansas City. I love the city, but I want to win. We need pitching. They went and they signed the pitching. He took them at their word and signed up, and now he got what he wanted. And man, we have some really good executives with our team.
Oh yeah,
All of our
yeah,
teams. You look at Brett Veach, look at
yes,
JJ Piccolo,
yeah,
and
yeah.
credit to John Sherman too, because there was a lot of pressure. And
Mhm,
I don't know if there was any internal pressure, but there was a lot of media pressure. There was financial pressure from season ticket
mhm,
holders, probably from sponsors saying, "What are you doing? You
mhm.
retained a guy from the previous regime. We haven't done anything since 2015. Why is this guy in charge? Look what happened." Had faith in him and stuck to the plan. And look where the Royals are now. And then conversely, look at where the White Sox are after making knee-jerk reaction after knee-jerk reaction.
Mm,
They
mm.
went from a team that was being predicted to be set up to be the Central Division champions for about a 5-year window to having the most losses in modern baseball history because of bad ownership. So I want to give John Sherman some credit too. He's done a good job guiding the ship and turning this team around, really in a relatively quick period of time when you consider how short of a period he's owned the team.
Oh, no doubt. Oh, and by the way, he might be facing his old team if they make it to the ALCS because
Yeah,
could you imagine the AL Central Championship Series? That would be amazing. Nobody definitely would have that on their bingo card at the beginning of the year to have
no,
Detroit or Cleveland possibly playing
yeah,
Kansas City
because
in the championship series to go to the World Series. That's the year we've had in baseball, especially in the American League.
3 of the 4 teams remaining in the AL or AL Central
And none of them are Minnesota, Chicago. That right there is crazy.
now. And this hasn't been reported yet, but Cleveland, Detroit, and the Royals have agreed to give a small share of the playoff earnings to the White Sox for helping subvent the records because getting to play the White Sox 12 times helps all 3 teams dramatically. I mean, you play your schedule, but it was a big factor. You get to play those guys. Man,
At
they're
least
awful.
at least give some to the old coach that got fired over there at the White Sox. At least give Pedro some of that money. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
former Royal Pedro Gaffal. Maybe it
Yes.
was an inside job.
Yes.
The GM is Chris
And Chris
Getz,
Getz helping him out. Good job.
former Royal second baseman. The best 2 players on the team are Nicky Lopez and Andrew Benintendi, and the manager is Pedro Gaffal. It may have been an inside job. Maybe
There we
JJ
go.
Piccolo is an even better executive than we gave him credit for. Probably not, but it is crazy the parallels there. Well, hey, as we wind it down here, you can absolutely catch us on the Fired Up Network. You can download that True TV Plus app. You can watch us on Sports.tv on any smart device. We're going down to the end of the show. Time for a weekly champion from the sister channel, Wrestling Spotlight. And you can check out our new website, WrestlingSpotlight.live. Check out some past episodes and get a look at what's on that channel. Time for weekly champions.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is TimeOut KC, and you are watching Wrestling Spotlight.
Now, with that, Chris, who's your champion of the week?
Champion of the week for me is Kareem Hunt. A lot of people were saying he should come back to KC. Can he come back to KC? What can he provide for KC? I think we saw that last night, and that's why the Chiefs are the Chiefs, and they continue to win because they make moves that some other people might not make move or might not even think about making it. And he just fills the hole right on in when Pop is hurt, when Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not there right now. And he just comes in like, oh, I've been here before, and just continues like nothing happened. So shout out to Kareem Hunt for the night that he had on Monday night.
I like that one. I'm going to go with Brett Veach because, when you talk about next man up, well, the guy who's putting people in position to be the next man up is your general manager. Super important position in the NFL. And like I said, I mean, he had Juju Smith-Schuster, got him for nothing. Kareem Hunt, got him for nothing. Let L'Jarius Sneed go to create more salary cap space. And Chamari Connor, who was a surprise 4th-round pick last year, well, he's playing at a Pro Bowl level now. So, Brett Veach, you get the
best GM in the
weekly
league.
champion. Absolutely.
Yeah.
just amazing work. One additional weekly champion, because it's Wrestling Spotlight, I do want to highlight all the work that the guys from FTR, the top guys, Dax Harwood and Cash Wheeler, have been doing to benefit their community, Asheville, North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
I've
Okay,
highlighted it on the Wrestling Spotlight X account. Go ahead and go to that. If you're able to just repost the links of the different charitable efforts they're doing, that's great. If you want to hop on Shop AEW, get one of the shirts. It's terrific. It benefits the community 100% because there's been so much damage from the hurricane, and there's another one bearing down in Florida. The people can use any help you can give them, and they're doing a great job highlighting their community. So definitely want to give them a little credit as well. Well,
God bless them,
yeah, because man, it's devastating. Areas that have never been hit by hurricanes, and Tampa Bay is in the sights right now. So hopefully everything ends up being okay. Our prayers definitely go out to the communities. Chris, I know people can listen to you on Hot 103 Jams on the way home. Where's any other place to find you and just kind of keep in touch?
Oh, yeah. Check me out on there. Hot 103 Jams is the app. KPRS.com is the website. And, of course, Stimpson Ain't Easy, the podcast with me and my brothers where we rate stuff. And make sure you check us out on there. Anywhere where you get your podcast. Stimpson Ain't Easy. That's where we at.
Okay. And, hey, I wanted to ask one more question because we do have our resident R&B music expert on here. I'm just curious, how is it that this is Glorilla's first album ever?
Why? I'm thinking so all those projects are mixtapes. I'm thinking the whole time it was just she had dropped 3 or 4 albums, and this is the debut album that's coming out this weekend. I'm thinking, okay, so all those are mixtapes. That's crazy right there. That's the world that we live in. But she's gonna do numbers already.
Is there an official definition of what's a mixtape and what's an album?
I can't tell anymore because to me, when I grew up, mixtapes were you were rapping on other people's beats and then you blended in other different songs and stuff. But now it's like mixtapes are pretty much what can I not put on my album? Okay, well I'm just about to put this on the mixtape, and there you go. So yeah, I've been fooled this whole time.
Fair enough. Well,
yeah.
Stay tuned to Hot 103 Jams for more on that breaking story. And stay tuned here to FiredUP Network for more sports and entertainment. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you next week.